I was sitting there thinking about this young man that's in front of us today. 'Cause I've been listening to him as a feature in some instances. I love the work he's done with Sid. I think it was called Show Love. I love the work that he's done with Solange.
Oh, yeah.
Early on with Don't Touch My Hair, I believe it was. What he did with Kendrick Lamar, who to me is the most important voice coming out of an MC of this generation. And the man has done it. Citizens, I promise you, I don't know him personally, but I feel like I do, because when you listen to his music, he touches chords that many don't reach. You know, his individualism, his uniqueness. And with Tracy, she and I were speaking about this, the texture of his voice is only identifiable to him. You know, I'm not sure where this young man is digging from. Whether it's first that project process, I'm not sure where it's coming from. But it ain't coming from someplace on this earth, in my opinion. This man is receiving signals, Tracy G.
Oh, yeah.
This man is processing frequencies.
He's a conduit.
And it's on purpose. It's on a purpose, whether he realizes it or not. You've been very, very instrumental in really making people's days better. Making folks confront their own vulnerabilities through you confronting yours, right? I think what you've done musically is more than just sound waves. It's wave therapy, if you will, right?
I see what you did
You
there.
see what I did right there?
Yeah, well done.
That just came off the top, too.
Come on
When
now.
I'm with him, I'm feeling creative, right? I'm getting the same signals he's getting. This man, to me, as I said before, is an artist. If you don't know him, it's okay. I'm sure you've heard his music, but get to know him, citizens. Please welcome him to the show for the first time. Give it up for Sampha.
Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, 888-742-3345. Who are you, man? Who are you?
What's your sign?
Do you know who you are?
I'm a guy from Lower Morden. London.
From London, just a guy from London, huh?
Yeah, just doing a thing.
Just doing your thing.
Yeah.
Sat in front of a piano and the rest is history.
You could say that, yeah. I guess so.
Yeah?
Yeah. But that was very touching. I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of overwhelmed by that.
Well, look, man. It's just I've been in this business a long time, right? And I see things differently. When artists, I think an artist is an angel. You know, under the right conditions, artists are able to just make people reflect, tap into your curiosity, make you figure things out, let you know you're not alone, right? And when I find for me personally, I didn't get into music to be in the business. You know, you sat in front of a piano. I sat in front of a saxophone as a youth, right? Okay. And I sat in front of a bass clarinet as a youth. And so music to me is a little different. I mean, we do our shuffle, our dance, and to survive and make a living in the business. But when someone like Lauryn Hill, for example, puts together a collective like Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and however many years later, 25 years later, you don't get tired of hearing one song because it's applicable to whatever's happening then, it's applicable to what's happening now. That's something special.
Truly.
That's, to me, is even beyond Lauryn. She's just the conduit. And I feel like listening to your music and then understanding all the adversity you faced over the years and the losses that you've had to navigate through, right, emotionally, mentally, and physically, and the gains that you've, you know, being a father now that you've also acquired, you know, and hearing this new album, you know, I think it's right on time. I think it's good timing for you. And whatever you learned about yourself in the process and continue to share with us, I think it's a blessing. So when I met you today, I wanted to hug you and say thank you. If nothing else, thank you, man. Give that man a round of applause.
His name is Sampha.
I want to know the formula.
Listen, you can know the formula, you can have all the ingredients, but that end product ain't going to turn out the same.
What did tell me about the title of the album.
Yeah, so my new album's called Lahai.
Yeah.
It's my middle name.
Okay. Okay.
Yep. And it's my mother's father's name, my grandfather, who I actually never met. But I guess this album, I was going through things, and I was thinking about, I became a father in the process of making the record, and I was thinking about sort of, the people who I'd lost, but then also feeling the energy of them through, seeing like a new life. And I was thinking a lot about sort of ancestry and me sometimes also feeling a little bit lost, I guess, and feeling like I needed to look back, kind of maybe sort of Afrofuturist kind of themes of like, needing to look back to go forward kind of thing. Yeah, so that's all tied up in the name Lahai, and it's a personal record as well, so it just felt right.
It feels it's a great name. When your grandfather that you never met, was he from Sierra Leone?
Yeah.
Okay, so what, did he ever come to the UK or did he?
No, I don't think he did.
He never did, huh? So the traditions of Sierra Leone, you carry those. Were you taught that as a kid, or customs and?
It's just in, as part of my culture. It's like just lived it, in my household.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's something that one of those things that definitely can start to drift as I get older, and as I need to make the effort to kind of reconnect, and especially having like a daughter. She's one more step removed than I am. So just making sure I stay in touch with like family, and I do need to try and learn how to cook some more dishes and and bring it.
You don't know how to cook, dog?
I do. I can cook, but I definitely I need to step my game up a little
There's room for improvement.
I got a daughter. She's grown now. She's an adult, but man, I remember not knowing how to change a diaper. Did you? How did you do with that kind of stuff, man? Like changing diapers, cooking, and was you fumbling the baby as a youth? As an infant?
Luckily I've got 4 older brothers, and they're older by quite a distance. So I became an uncle at like 5 years old.
Okay, all right.
I wasn't changing nappies.
Okay.
But he was watching.
But I've had like nieces and nephews, and so I've had a bit of practice. So that side of things wasn't a complete shock to me.
One of your brothers, and this is us getting to know you. Sampha is here, 888-742-3345. Was really instrumental in you just pursuing music. One of your brothers built a makeshift studio when you were younger, or?
Yeah, he just like in his bedroom.
Yeah.
Like he moved like 5 minutes down the road from my mum's house.
Okay.
And I used to just bug him all the time. I would go over unannounced and just go into his bedroom and sort of burn like Billy, like he had like CDs, and I just used to like make a 15-second track and burn it on the CD.
Word?
Just wasting his CDs, terrible. But he was so like kind and open, never like rejected me, never told me to go home. And also he's kind of like, he has a really eclectic music taste, so I was going through all of his CDs, and he would show me music. So yeah, it was very Sunny. Shout out to Sunny.
Sonny, what up, Sonny? Yo, Sonny, what up, man? Swiggity. How's your family embraced? When you're that young, when you're that much younger, you see I'm the youngest sibling in my family, but and I've been able to do things folks haven't been able to do in my community as well, in my family, in terms of the advancement in this music business. And it's always interesting how family members receive that, embrace it, or how they even cope, because your fame is now theirs too.
Yeah.
What is it I can't believe this dude is that famous thing, or?
I've got my brothers are extremely proud.
Okay.
Sometimes embarrassingly so. Like I've got an older brother who like gets my music played in the clubs that he goes to, and it's definitely not the kind of mood somehow. Yeah. But yeah, they're all really proud, and like they all got a part in me being me, musically speaking. I always feel like I was like, they were like the pioneers, and I just got to kind of get the fruits of their kind of listening labor, So yeah, and they were always really supportive from a very young age. So yeah,
I love this. Sampha's here, Tracy. I know you want to jump in. I'm curious about your locks. I had locks for 17 years. So what's your lock journey? What made you?
My lock journey. I think I don't know. I don't exactly know the genesis. If I'm perfectly honest, I believe I might have stopped combing my hair for like a week, and it started making some interesting patterns. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I just sort of let it go.
Yeah.
And my mum was like, what is happening? She kind of just gave up on like asking what I'm doing with my hair. Luckily, the music was going well, and I was like beginning to support myself. So she kind of just like let me do my thing, and she was like, but yeah, I guess it's just free form.
Free form,
Yeah.
but that to me is that's a revolution.
Yeah.
You know, that's rebellion. That's standing outside of the status quo.
But it's also like acceptance. I feel like it really reflects you as an artist, being in your organic state, you know, and allowing just time to create the shapes of your hair, the shapes of your life, and embracing it and seeing the art in it, even if other people don't get it in due time. I mean, this imaging is also a part of your music. People have different entryways into an artist, so someone could look at you and be like, nah, he has something interesting to say. I can feel it. He's not manufactured. And I bet your mom loves it now too. All right, maybe not.
She might do. Somewhere.
She'll come around. Well, when Sway was mentioning the texture of your voice, Sampha, I mean, you are an anomaly. You're an artist that cannot be debated online, in my opinion, because there is something that is so ethereal yet haunting about your voice, or something very commanding but softening about your voice. And quite often, especially in Black music, we'll have conversations around genres. Do we need them? Are they limiting? You know, recently we were talking about, you know, Doja Cat and folks believing, I don't know if she's rap. Mariah the Scientist recently is saying how she doesn't want to be called an R&B artist. She feels like A&B is better, alternative blues, that's what she calls it. For you, Sampha, because you cannot be placed in a box in the slightest as well. How would you describe your music, and is it important or not important to you to be categorized in a particular genre?
It's definitely like, you know, a hybrid of like things I'm influenced by, and I don't get particularly annoyed or like, you know, when people might call me this or that or say I'm R&B, and I feel like if ever I do feel a way about something, I kind of question like, why do I feel a way about this? Why don't I want to be associated with this actually?
Yeah.
And really and truly, like, you know, rhythm and blues or whatever, you know, or R&B. It's something that I've, you know, learned to embrace within myself, and, you know, I can see the similarities. But yeah, with the genre, I guess, and I'm someone who naturally, I put things into the genre as well. When I'm trying to explain something to someone, I go, oh, you know what, yeah, they're kind of like this and this and that. So I feel like it's natural to kind of categorize, but I do enjoy also, like, you know, letting those kind of boundaries start to kind of melt away, or the moments where I can kind of see the connection between things. And I think that's one thing, you know, in sort of retrospect in making my music, I start to see the connection between all these genres that I'm into. Yeah. And how I kind of blend them, and also just how I grew up, where I grew up, and, you know, the different cultures that I've been a part of and I am a part of, and that I am, you know. Yeah, it all kind of just, I feel like it all kind of solidifies or crystallizes in this kind of form of expression.
Yeah, one of a kind.
Dude, your talking voice is even incredible, bro. I wish you could have read me bedtime stories. The way you talk, dude, it's like...
Yeah, it's something else.
Sampha is here, 888-742-3345. First song I played was Stereo Color Cloud. First song on this project. Yeah.
Shaman's Dream.
Shaman's Dream. Sequencing is so important. Well, I don't know. I mean, I came up in an era where the sequence of the album meant a lot. I typically listen to albums from I know this is screwy, but I listen from the back to the front, and then I come back from the front to the back. Okay. This was a song you said you wanted it to sound animated, right? You know, colorful. How do you make sound colorful and animated, and by your process?
I don't quite know how I do that. You know, like I generally, I'm quite visual. Yeah. And so when I start making something, like a visual start to like form in my head, I think was like, I don't know, I'm experimenting with like a particular production technique, or I'll have like movies on in the background, and I have like picture books on the floor. And then I'll let the kind of the sound like inform me, and I'll sort of build upon whatever comes naturally, you know, like and I feel like if I see something going in a particular direction, I'm like, this is interesting to me, this is something I'm feeling. So I don't have the answers per se, but I feel like as I'm sort of getting older, I'm sort of able to see like what is forming and sort of maybe direct it
in that
yeah. where it's going. I kind of see where something's going, I think, you know.
Okay. Everything you qualify what I think, maybe, however.
Well, AKA he's experimental.
He's experimental.
Yeah.
We had Don Tripp, an artist from New Orleans. Don Tripp from New Orleans, yeah. From the South, all right.
Yes.
And he talked about when he goes in the studio, he spares no songs. Like what he records is what he releases. Is that true with you with this project?
Yeah, definitely. Like I don't work on that many. There's a few songs that didn't make the record, but generally speaking, when I start working on something, I sort of just keep returning to it, and usually I'll wait until, I won't just if I'm writing chords or I'm at the piano, I'll spend a long time before I get to like a particular progression that I like. And so it's within that process is me kind of, cycling through what someone might have written, like 4 songs, but I'll just keep cycling through, and then I'll sort of land on something that really kind of hits me. Yeah. So I do make maybe a bit less, and in the future I might switch it up, but that's
where you at right now.
Yeah.
All right, man. I love hearing these answers and looking at your locks at the same time. It
Yes.
all kind of makes sense.
It's
like
very poetic.
The locks are every direction here.
You're stupid.
So is your process, but it somehow comes together.
Yeah,
Yes.
somehow happens.
I love it, man. Go ahead, Tracy.
Yeah, Sampha, can you speak on the secret ingredient of time? I think in this day and age, it almost feels like a lot of artists are leaning towards instant gratification, pushing out quantity, and in some cases that sacrifices quality. I think as a generation, they're very much as dang, time feels very elusive and I have to get all of these accomplishments before I reach a certain age. Your debut album process, which is magnificent, it took 6 years to get to this sophomore album. And I embrace that because like I was telling you before we hit the mics, I want to feel like my artists are living. I want to feel like your own personal catharsism is priority. And then the art as a product for me, the consumer, the fan, is secondary. What is it about time that we as people should lean into more?
I mean, it's a kind of it's a very ordinary thing, but also very sort of, it's a bit of a mystery. Do you know what I mean? In terms of like just thinking about time, but in terms of how I use time and sort of my process of like writing music, I think, for the last like 10 years, I've just gone through a lot and sometimes not had enough. I feel like I just need time to be able to kind of process what I'm going through. Like sometimes I find it difficult to know where I am in the moment, especially when there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I just need to find myself in a space where things kind of slow down and I have a bit more time to like reflect and deeply focus. Because I feel, especially in this day and age, I feel like it's hard sometimes to keep your attention on one thing. And even in this, like where I am right now, it's difficult for me to like create fully, like right now. And I feel like that's where I was like in process, like after, some people might like write on tour and but I kind of need a bit of space personally, I think. And I'm not to say that I feel like there might be a time here I go again but there might be a time where I kind of like try and do something in a shorter space of time, but it seems to be like slightly innate in me, sort of writing in this way or taking the space to really sort of make sure that what I'm writing, one, is really hitting me, and I'm really having like a genuine connection to the output, and it feels fresh to me. So, and that just seems to take time.
How is navigating the business side of this? Because you feel like such a genuine, pure artist, where it's almost like I have this maternal instinct to protect you. I do not want you to be stained by the industry. Heather B., our co-host, she always says rule number 1 is a dirty game.
Yeah.
How have you navigated that side with your art also being a product, you being a product?
I mean, luckily I've like worked with people who've given me space, and not tried to force me to sort of release records every year or something, or every 2 years. And it's a learning process, It's like there's so many things that you're just thrown into it, and you don't even recognize the kind of system or the structure you're in, and you sort of, I guess you grow and you sort of, you know, there's a lot of thinking and there's a lot of, you know, just basically just learning the landscape.
Yes.
And it's difficult. It's definitely, you know, I can definitely see how it can be a traumatic experience.
What's been the hardest lesson?
And art and commerce and those things, you know, things that are sort of loggerheads. So yeah, it's definitely a journey. I was fortunate to, like, I guess, land in a space where, or work with people who are quite understanding of, you know, my sort of artistic process and caring and sort of protective of that. But even within that, there's still growing, and there's still, you know, it's just like in any relationships, you know.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know, you kind of grow and you kind of see where, oh, maybe this should be different or maybe that should be different. But, you know.
Is there a standout lesson within this industry, maybe in like the last, maybe during these 6 years that sticks to your mind that someone else could use so they can navigate around that type of pitfall when it comes to business?
Yeah, I mean, one thing's definitely recognizing your own value. I think that's
Hell
one,
yeah.
you know, and, you know, that's because sometimes, and, you know, being able to sort of like stick to your guns and you know, I think for me, something I can do is sometimes it's like suppress things or become maybe slightly apathetic, and you know, just trying to read, trying to make sure you know what it is you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And just you know, finding people that you trust, I think.
Absolutely.
Finding
is
people
important.
that you can trust.
Yeah.
Jeez, man, that's wow. How you do that?
Yeah.
Sampha's here. Worked with a lot of great artists off the top of my head. Frank Ocean, Sid, Kendrick Lamar, Drake. Help me out.
Beyonce,
Solange. So I'm not going to ask you about those collaborations because we could go see, or we could figure that out. We could find out. I want to ask you about you while we have you for this short period of time. You got a song called "Can't Go Back." Since we're talking about time. And so we do this thing. I've done this for years, Sampha. You wouldn't believe how long I've been on the radio. You're probably looking at me if I told you that you're faint. But, so I'm not going to tell you. We need you here live on air. I want to break down some of these lyrics, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Lyrical breakdown.
Okay.
I don't get it. What exactly don't you get?
Breaking down the lyrics you may not understand.
What the hell did you just say?
It's the Lyrical Breakdown
I can break it down like whatever you want.
on Sway in the Morning.
Sometimes you got to ask that question. This is one of my favorite songs. Well, not even, I don't like using the word favorite, but this is a song that hit me, landed well on me. In Evidence, too, is another one of those. Just the way the song Evidence, I'm going astray, but the way Evidence feels when I hear it, it almost makes me feel like I'm going into a meditative state.
Yes.
But this song is called Can't Go Back. Don't care if my brain keeps saying can't go back. No, I don't care if my veins keep saying can't go back. When there's something pulling, can't go back, yeah, can't go back, can't go back. But then it all gets frozen. I can't go back. I don't know what if that's Spanish or machina. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's French.
What? Oh, that's comment allez-vous? What does that mean? Machine.
It's like, I guess it's asking, like, does time even exist? A time machine, or time doesn't exist? Or...
Time doesn't exist. Does time exist? The verse. So this is what I want to go into. Spirit been looking for some evidence. That line right there, where were you at when you wrote that? Where did that come from? Was that from your personal state of mind?
Yeah, if we're getting into it, I guess it was me just being honest. I guess very honest with myself, and I was actually talking to my brother, and he was saying that actually my mother passed away, and he was saying I haven't had any contact, or just talking about sort of metaphysical kind of signals, and sometimes feeling like you're a bit of a maybe there's having maybe like an existential, I wouldn't say crisis, but a moment of like trying to sort of, I guess, connect with, I guess, spirits or something beyond, and I guess, talking about, I have a song called Evidence, and seeing that I lost my mum, I losing someone so close to you, and not feeling their presence and wondering where they are. having a child, I suddenly had this really strong feeling of my mother.
Yeah.
And it was very kind of like, wow, this is crazy. This is like special. And I guess that's, in the song I talk about immanence, which is kind of like, I guess it's talking about divinity in the sort of material world. And it was just like a perspective I thought was interesting, and it was kind of speaking to me at the time. So I guess the Spirit been looking for some evidence. I was just on a spiritual journey, just like trying to, because I recognize it's a part of me that I need.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I'm constantly, there's something pulling me, and I need that bird's eye view, because life will kind of just chew you up a little bit, or you go from day to day. So it's just, and I talk a lot about flying in the record, and it's about sometimes needing that bird's eye view to be able to look back, up, forward, around yourself.
I love that, man. Lord knows my daughter's here. She's heaven sent. Yeah, I've had some joys, and I had many wins. Still look in the mirror like I found a twin.
Beautiful.
And you're speaking on your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta show you a picture of my daughter.
Yeah. We need a girl dad bonding moment right now.
We about to have a moment right here, brother. I'm sorry, man, but it's certain songs that land a certain way with me, and this is one of them. Let me find a picture of my daughter. Here.
But you said it when you were saying that Sampha's ability to tap into his own vulnerability gives everyone else permission to do the same.
Yeah, so
that's Kiyomi.
That's my daughter, Kiyomi, bro. Yeah, man.
Oh, wow.
And that's literally like his twin. It's crazy.
Yeah, you see that?
Yeah,
so you see why I relate to this song, bro?
Yeah. Most
like,
definitely.
Yeah. We weren't even born in the same part of the world, right? Or the same decade.
Right.
Yeah. But we're here in, the same time,
The same time, right? This is a powerful song, man. I want to encourage all our listeners to make sure you check it out. But let me get Jamal on the line. He's been holding for 30 minutes. Jamal, go ahead.
Goodness.
He's in Los Angeles. Jamal, you still there?
Jamal!
I'm still there. What's up?
Hello.
You must really like Sampha, man. Go ahead. You just talk to him.
Man, Sampha, this is a true blessing to be able to talk to you. I've been a fan since 2013 when the Too Much track with Drake came out. Wow. And after that, I jumped onto the dual EP that you came out with, and I was going through a moment in time, and that track, that EP right there just really changed the way I listen to music, and it got me wanting more to listen to Sampha and find, those different albums and different things that you were coming out with. So thank you for blessing us with this new project. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And as I think about just the dual EP track or album, what were you going through during that time when those, because my favorite track on there is Indecision and the Can't Get Close track. What were you going through during there? And, what was that pen game that made you write that album?
I wrote a lot of that at my mum's house in the bedroom. And I guess I was a young adult, sort of going through, growing pains, and, as, continually am. But, a lot of it, as I said, a lot of the time I write music from an intuitive space. But those take me back to kind of crazy times where like can't get close. I wrote that all in bed with a microphone. I did everything. Had my laptop, had my sound card, just in the bed, pillow, duvet, in my mum's house. And there was a lot of self-discovery going on. A lot of change going on. I guess I was kind of getting into the music game more seriously, and flying away, and discovering the world, and coming back, and I guess processing those things, and things were going on at the time as well, with family. So it was all kind of just I always feel like music for me has been a bit of like a sonic photo, I say.
Sonic photo essay.
Hey, Jamal, thank you, man. Make sure you support the new project, okay? There's so much we could talk to you about. We only got so much time, but I would love for you to come back. I loved your Tiny Desk performance. Maybe we could do something here. We got a performance studio here, too, if you were into that. Or just come hang with us so we could talk and get to know you more.
Yeah, most
talk more about.
Yeah.
Just a lot of music to talk about. We can't do it in 30 minutes,
Yeah.
But you're an incredible human being.
Mm-hmm.
Glad to meet you in person.
Thank you.
Now when I listen to your music, I can listen to it differently. That's my homie right there. That's my family right there.
Right.
You got allies in us, brother. Continued success, okay?
And I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. He's performing tonight at Webster Hall.
Sold out,
And
though.
tomorrow night is sold out. Okay. Make sure y'all follow him on Sampha at SAMPHA. We're going to end this interview with Can't Go Back. Anything you want to say?
I just want to say, like, I'm overwhelmed. Thank you for the love. It's been a pleasure talking to you and hearing you speak and watching you guys in your element. It's been beautiful. And thank you to anyone who's been listening, supporting the music. It means a lot. Thank you.
There it is. Sampha, thank you, brother.